around to say hello. One-on-one, I'm so fly. You took a nosedive. Careful when you play on my level. For you, it's so. Hey, hello.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra. Flip the script.
Hello, Moto.
Suhel Seth, when you look at these visuals, you hear the eyewitness account and you go through the details coming to fore, the first thing that happens is that a sense of fear grips you. And of course, then comes the analytical thinking and critical thinking. What is your assessment?
It is obviously a horrific accident. There's no denying that. It is an accident that no one imagined, and that's what accidents are, A. B. To my mind, having worked in the aviation business, I think everyone is becoming an aviation expert and jumping to conclusions. The two pilots who were in charge of the aircraft, one had over 8,000 hours of flying. The other, the first officer, had over 1,100 hours of flying. Three people or three stakeholders have to get involved in this. Number one, the aircraft manufacturer, which in this case is Boeing. Number two, the airline. And number three, the regulator. It is early, Swati. People are jumping to conclusions. Oh, this was not right. This was not right. You know, I'll tell you one thing. No company, no corporation, no airline wants anything of this kind to ever happen. It is heart-wrenching because people lose their lives. Families are orphaned. Families lose their loved ones. The regulators don't want this because it is a sign, it is a vote of non-confidence in India's aviation capabilities. The pilots of Air India, in every aviation survey, and you've got two experts here, you can ask them, including Anand, Air India pilots have been rated amongst the world's finest. So I'm amazed as to how people are jumping to multiple conclusions for no rhyme or reason. And then you have the Tata Group. You tell me, the Tata Group today is what, about 158 years old, has served the country with reverence, respect, and with diligence and commitment. You saw what happened post 26/11, Swati. Your channel covered it brilliantly. Ratan Tata was standing there right outside the Taj. They set up a fund, they set up a care facility. So my point is, rather than jump immediately to conclusions that this was wrong, that was wrong, this is not right, let's wait for an investigation to happen. This is not the time for fault finding. This is a time for, to my mind, consoling people who've lost their loved ones. This is a time for India to heal. This is not a time for India to accuse, not to be vituperative. You have very senior people involved in all of this. Cut them slack. Let them do their jobs. You know, airline accidents, this is not the first airline accident that has happened. There is a process to an accident. There's an inquiry based on the findings of the black box, based in partnership or in collaboration with the aircraft manufacturer. And then you come to those conclusions. That's what we have to wait for. People are jumping the gun. People are saying, oh, this happened. We think that happened. We don't think this was done, that was done. I mean, I'm amazed as to how in our country, when people need to come together to give solace to families, we are quick to find fault, get into an abusive situation for no rhyme or reason. There are multiple stakeholders involved here, and we must respect both their professionalism and their integrity. And this is not the time, to my mind, to cast vituperative accusations and fly around saying, oh, this was right, this was... Let me tell you, Swati, my wife and my 5.5-year-old child were taking off from Delhi for Kochi this evening when the news of this horrific accident happened. And you know what my wife said? And I salute her courage for that. She says, and when she landed, I spoke to her. She says, we had an excellent flight. And I have to tell you, the pilot and the crew were anguished as they were, but they served with diligence, with commitment, and with care. You know, amongst all the people on the panel, I travel the most. I travel 29 days a month. I know a thing or two about aircraft. And let me tell you, I'm not blowing smoke saying, oh, but Air India. The pilots of Air India, the crew of Air India as an airline, They are magnificent. Don't trash them. Don't say that, oh, this is not right, that is not right.
Right.
You will then sully an entire ecosystem of great people, whether it's the crew, whether it's the engineers, whether it's the pilots. That's my initial submission.